What's going on, guys? Derek here from Williston Audio Labs. Last week we did a different Soundstream amp, the TXP1.6000D, and got some positive feedback. And people wanted to see the 4-channel version, the TXP4.3500D. So you know Big D, gonna follow up with it. Purchase this amp off of eBay, but if you check the link in the video description below, there's a lot of places that sell it now, including Amazon. Here is the size difference between the 6000D monoblock and 3500D 4-channel. You can see the 4-channel is quite a bit larger. And we'll go over the specs here. Let's talk about the ratings. 140 watts by 4 at 4 ohms, 235 by 4 at 2 ohms, 375 by 4 at 1 ohm stereo, or 700 by 2 bridged at 2 ohms. What I found really odd is when you add up the 1 ohm measurements or ratings that they give you, you get 1500 watts. And when you add up the 2 ohm bridge, which should be the same, you get 1400. So that's kind of a red flag right there to begin with. Let's talk about the dimensions. 8.25 inches by 7.25 and the millimeter equivalents. And again, the height's the same as the other 2.75 inches as all the other amps in this lineup. You can see the speaker outputs here. They're 8 gauge. If you want to bridge the amplifier, you have to use the outside, which is a positive for channel 1, negative for channel 2, positive for channel 3, negative for channel 4 if you want to bridge the amp, or you can use one or the other if you want to do like a 3-channel mode. Let's look at the other stuff. You have a level control for bass. For channels 3 and 4, you have a crossover setting, gains, high and low pass crossovers on both channels. So there's quite a bit going on here. Protect, clip, and power light down there as well. You have 4 RCA inputs for each of the 4 channels. On the opposite side, you have 4 gauge power, ground, and 8 gauge for the remote. And you also have the logo here, the TXP4. Now this amp, again, accepts 4 gauge, but we always like to use the 1-aught reducers when we can, which we did for this test as well as the last test. And there's the amp. We got it all hooked up here on the dyno. Looks really nice, just like the monoblock did. And let's fire it up and see what it looks like. Again, you can see it just pretty much lights up the Tarantula. It doesn't light up the rest of the amp and show those beautiful guts off, which is a bummer. So let's move into the important part. Let's test the amp out, see what it does. All right, first up, we're going to do the 4-channel mode at 4 ohms. It's rated 140 watts by 4. We did load all channels, channels 1 and 2 on the dyno, 2 and 3 on the resistors. So here we go, certified. And yeah, 95 and 94 watts. Oh no, we were really hoping after the last test of these amps that these were accurately rated. So this is not a good sign when we don't get rated at 4 ohms. That means the other tests are probably not going to do their rated power either. Uncertified is right around the same power. We just had a little bit less voltage here, 94 and 93 watts. And I'm running the test here at 1 kilohertz. So this is a lighter load on the amp. It's not as hard as the 40 hertz test. So it gives it more of an opportunity to meet that rated power. The dynamic test, it got a little closer, 110 and 121, but still not there. Now, the efficiency, though, was good. We did an average here between 2 different runs, 88.7%, so almost 90% efficient, very good. 2 ohms, rated 235 by 4. Again, testing channels 1 and 2. Channels 3 and 4 are actually on the resistors. Rated 235 by 4. We got 165 and 163. Yeah, we tried, but again, well off the rated power, which is a shame. Uncertified test takes us up to clipping. Let's see what we get here. Again, we're using the 1 kilohertz track, 166 watts per channel, so 166 by 4. So we're well off, over 60 watts shy of the rated power. Dynamic sends a dynamic tone into the amp. This is a 1 kilohertz tone. This should be a very easy load on the amplifier, and it should show full range dynamics. And 176, 181, so around 180 watts per channel, well shy of that rating. Efficiency is good though, 82.3%, so that's a good thing. 1 ohm, it's rated 375 by 4. Yes, almost 400 watts by 4 is what it's rated. And here we go, certified. 264 by 4.
This is not a Mickey Mouse program!
Starting to look like it here with these numbers that they're giving us versus what we're measuring. Let's try uncertified. Takes us up to the clipping point. Again, 1 kilohertz tone. And again, well shy of the rated power. 264 watts by 4, rated 375 by 4. Abysmal. Abysmal. Let's try the dynamic test, see if we can get anywhere close. Sending a pulse tone at 1 kilohertz into the amplifier, and still not even getting, well, right at 300 watts by 4. Still well shy of the rated power. And check out our voltage. We got 14.8 on the voltage, so we have plenty of voltage going in, so that's not the problem. Now, the efficiency, however, was still really good even at this test. We averaged out 83% efficiency. All right, so next up, we're going to bridge the amp down to 2 channels. It's not rated with numbers, but we're going to guess 470 by 2 based on the other numbers that are given. And here's a diagram showing how to bridge the amp. It's the outside terminals, which will bridge it down. Now, let's try it certified first. Again, 1 kilohertz tone, and here we go, 329 by 4, where it's rated 470 by 4.
I could never understand that.
I could never understand it either, Sanfei. So, yeah, as you can see here, we're not going to get the rated power no matter what test we do, but we'll keep showing you the numbers. Uncertified, 327 by 2, rated 470 by 2. So quite a big difference there. 150 watts difference in the ratings versus what we actually got. Dynamic. Let's see what we get here. And again, 100 watts shy of the rated, 370 by 2, and according to the numbers, 470 by 2 is what it should be rated, so well shy of that. Now, efficiency wise, around 80%, so that's still pretty good for a Class D amplifier. Not the best, but still pretty good. 2 ohms. Now, this is where it's rated 700 watts by 2. We have it bridged down to 2 channels. Both channels are measured on the dyno. And yeah, you can probably imagine 540 by 2, where it's rated 700. That's 160 off for those of you with less math skills than I. But yeah, we're nowhere near the power. Uncertified, up to clipping. You can watch the numbers count, but they're not going to catch up to 700. 540 again by 4, by 2. Sorry, 540 by 2, rated 700 by 2. And then we'll do the dynamic test. See what we get here. Close to 600, 593, 579. Again, our voltage was plenty high, 14.75, and did not get there, unfortunately, for Soundstream. Boo! Efficiency was good though, 82%. That's something we can give it a thumbs up for. But the rest of it, Alright, so you saw the test. Here is the dyno sheet. You're welcome to pause this if you want to look. I also ran the 2 ohm mono test at 40 hertz. That's the column on the far right side. So you can see how that compares. But yeah, versus what they're rating the amp, it doesn't do too well. So let's see how it does on speakers. Alright, we've got the Soundstream 4-channel Tarantula bridge down to 2 channels, and we have it hooked up to the ELAC Unify, what are they called? B2, 5, something, B5s, Unify, I don't know. Anyway, let's try it out and see what it sounds like. Now, again, we have the amp bridged, and we just have it go into each of the bookshelf speakers. So we have it bridged down to the 2-channel mode. There's nothing going to the subwoofers. Those are just there to kind of hold up the bookshelf speakers. So let's start the track here. Here we go. All right, let's try another track. Let's try Dark Zephyr here from the YouTube audio library. And as usual, we need to find out where the trap is. YouTube audio library. Alright, so to my ears the amp sounded fine. I didn't have any problems with the sound quality. It actually sounded very good with the ELAC bookshelf speakers. Now, let's take the amp apart a little bit so we can show you the insides. You can see here inside the Class D amp. Again, it has those two smoke plexi covers over the top which expose the insides. Soundstream luckily has a picture on their website that shows you what the guts look like. So you can see here the layout of the amplifier, all the different components, all the different channels, because it's kind of hard to see inside to tell everything. There is Soundstream logo on the board, so it does appear that this is one at least that they had their stamp put on, and you can see the caps. It looks like they did not quite clean up around the transistors all that nice, but yeah, it's a budget amp, so what do you expect? Let's talk about the good stuff. It looks super cool, has a thick aluminum heatsink just like the other one, relatively small size, and the budget, the price, $220, not too bad. It may even be less when you check this out. Has all kind of crossovers for high pass, low pass, all that good stuff. Bridgeable for 2 or 3 channel operations, which is very useful. Now what could be better? Yes, it failed to meet the rated power, failed miserably. It has no bass remote. The LEDs do not light up the inside of the amp. It's just a Tarantula. Why do they put 3,500 watts on the box? Why they even do the other numbers either, but there's no markings on the amp for bridging, unfortunately. The power and ground labels are underneath the bottom, so it's hard to see them. And then, hey, Soundstream, can we get us a 5-channel model too? That would be nice. So there you have it. Overall, ratings versus measurements here of this amp were a complete failure. Not sure what's going on, if this must have got into the wrong hands when they did the ratings, but overall the amp still sounded good. I like the features on the amp, and I really like the look of it. So that's a subjective thing, I know, but I like it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and too bad for Soundstream that they didn't have another one that knocked it out of the park like the last amp. But anyway, I bought this amp so I can say what I want. I appreciate you guys as always. Till next time, Big D, I'm out of here.
Good evening, friends. Dick Riculous here, reporting live for WBIGD TV. Today we're going to talk about another product. We're going to have Big D test and prove if it's true, if it's false, if it's right, if it's wrong, if the manufacturer's leading you down a path of destruction, if they're just plain out lying to you, lying to you, lying to you. We are here and we're going to report it, because that's what we do. Dick Riculous here, WBIGD TV. Make sure you stick around, watch Big D's videos at youtube.com/BigDWiz. Make sure you subscribe, hit that little bell, go ding, it goes ding. Every time he puts out a video, get something in your inbox, you can go watch it. Make his subscribers go through the roof. Maybe he'll pay Dick Riculous here a little bit more. Dick Riculous needs some more money because radio stations, this ain't radio, this is TV. TV stations don't play much, don't pay much. They don't play either, but they don't pay much.
You big dummy.
So make sure you subscribe to Big D so that Dick Riculous can get paid. Who's talking right now? Is this Dick Oh yeah, Dick Riculous. So, till next time, my friends, Dick Riculous here for WBIGD TV. Out. Over and out.